Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
So I think we are here. Let's start. We'll start go straight forward to our first question. In order to build a distributed storage network that's accessible to everyone, so we should focus on how to lower the threshold for users when designing technical and economic models, right? So how is this reflected in the design of BTFS technical and economic models? So I would like to have your three ideas. Let's start from Charles. Yeah.
Well, I think BTFS demonstrated a good way of how to lower the barrier for users to get started.
Yeah.
Essentially, there is an easy to use interface for nodes to get started, and then developers can easily integrate it with their existing storage solutions, such as AWS and other services. Meanwhile, with BTT tokens, all participants in the network are rewarded sufficiently. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So Justin, if you have anything from your side, to share with us.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think generally the way to make distributed systems and blockchain technology something that can be available to everyone and that can really reach mass adoption is to build bridges and to smooth the transition from use cases that people are already familiar with to these new use cases, which can be a little bit confusing or daunting at first, and to try to engage users in a progressive way. So in BTFS's case, I think a couple of examples of that pattern are providing an HTTP gateway and a CDN to allow user access initially. So instead of forcing someone that wants to, read an article to go and install a BTFS full node and understand how the whole system works, your first engagement can be just to click on a link and see it in a web browser. And behind the scenes, under that HTTP gateway, it's all fully decentralized. Now that introduces, for that on-ramp, that use case, there's a single point of failure now, or like a few points of failure if you have a number of different HTTP bridges. But it gets people in the door. And then from there, maybe they become interested in a browser extension or running a local node or getting more invested in the understanding and engaging with the system. And once you get people across that bridge, you create incentives for browser makers to make it right into the web browser and for it to become a part of the whole ecosystem, the same way that the transition from Web 1 to Web 2 came about through browsers. Like a limited set of browsers supported the capabilities that you needed for it, and then users started to demand it, and now it's everywhere, and we're on to the next generation.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Eric, as a BTFS technical lead, so I really would like to have your voices here. This.
Yes, sure. So technical-wise, BTFS is providing easy access to its core operations through a web-based UI, a HTTP REST API, and also command line operations, satisfying different kinds of needs for different user bases for them to get into the network and ecosystem. And it also has what Justin also mentioned, the gateway CDN services for new users to get to know what's going on with the decentralized scene before diving deeper and getting on board. So they can easily install a BTFS package afterwards on Windows, Mac, and Linux with easy to use guides. So these are the barriers we're trying to lower. And also as a developer-friendly project, we have the source code available for people to read and also reuse and contribute to, and the documentation are also open to public access. So economically, we believe that pricing is one important part. So we've leveled the network to be storing TBs of data per month. That's a third of what centralized solutions are currently offering, without sacrificing availability and reliability, which are also important for users who store persistent files on the network. Finally, there is also incentive miner program for rewarding hosts who continuously provide highly available shard storage to the file space renters. So all of these are covered economically by the BTFS network for incentives.
Thank you very much. So my next question, I'm going to ask Justin and Eric on this matter. So as we know, miners, nodes, and token holders are all stakeholders, right, for this whole network. And they make safe and stable operation and sustainable development at the core of a distributed storage network. So in terms of delivering fair community governance to a wider audience, so what are the plans and accomplishments of BTFS, and how will such integration benefit each other? So let's start from Justin.
Yeah, I think in the case of BTFS and making sure that we have fair community practices in terms of management and governance, the key has been to release a flexible solution very quickly, and then to iterate based on a careful reading of the user and community feedback. So it's impossible to anticipate every type of user, every use case, every environment that people will be using the product in.
Yeah.
So you need to bake some adaptability into your technical solution and your plans. And that's really the only way to win. In BTFS's case, we've seen a lot of user growth as a result of the mining rewards program that we talked about earlier. But more importantly, there have been a lot of lessons from releasing that program that have been folded into the next version of the rewards program, and that have already been, some of which have already been implemented, and some of which Eric and the team have planned. And I think those changes will increase the overall efficiency and fairness of the governance system. And I think Eric can probably speak to that in more detail.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eric. So, Justin, just cue to you.
So this July, BTFS launched one of the first governance program, which is decentralized storage network mining program in the space. And we've since increased our user base by 3x, with hundreds of active developers joining in daily discussion. Together, we've made adjustments on how the node scores should be calculated, how mining rewards should be distributed, how fraudsters should be thwarted. So the stability of the BTFS network governance depends on the feedback from miners, the nodes, and also the token holders together. So beginning of early next quarter, we will also launch new staking-based mining rules that will better stabilize the quality storage providers and distribute fair rewards to all the participants. So given the early feedback and suggestions made by many of our miners and token holders, I believe this community is going towards the right direction of better governance for a decentralized network.
Thank you very much. My next question, as we just mentioned, as a blockchain-based digital economy and DeFi, both, witnessing exponentially growth, right? So is BTFS aimed at integrating other blockchain sectors to create new use cases in its exploration for the infrastructure of the Web 3.0 era, or how will such integration benefit each other? So let's start with Charles. Maybe you have something to share with us.
Yeah, I believe there will be huge opportunities for BTFS in the era of Web 3.0 and DeFi. I think BTFS will become one of the most important infrastructures in the blockchain space for a decentralized project to build their apps and connect the data between blockchain and the real world content pieces.
Thank you very much. And Justin, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, I think Charles has it right. There's going to be a lot of growth, and there's going to be a lot of a lot of moves to be made and plays to be made in this space. I think it's critical to keep in mind that we're still at the beginning of the beginning in terms of blockchain technology, distributed systems, and Web 3.0. And so if you look back at the first sort of web boom and Web 2.0 eras, and technology even before that, there's always no prediction. There's no shortage of people willing to make predictions, but like most predictions, they turn out to be wrong. And then there's only a few that are right. So I think it's useful not to look so much at specific use cases or like this DeFi product or this token, and instead to look at primitives, because the primitives are going to be there, whatever direction it takes. And so we're going to need things like units of value and units of account, units of identity, units of execution, distributed messaging, distributed storage. And that last one, storage, I think is where BTFS is aimed at providing that primitive and providing a very general and scalable primitive that can cover the use cases that we know about today. Where I think the sort of like simple model is to look at other products, like look at cloud storage like AWS and say, okay, well, we can decentralize that, or to look at personal storage or sync, like Dropbox or personal backups, and say, okay, we can decentralize that. But I'm sure that there will be new use cases that we can't even think about or anticipate today. And so the challenge for BTFS and the team is to make sure that we can cover those tomorrow. And I think Eric and the team have done a good job doing that. And I look forward to seeing what emerges.
Thank you. And Eric, if you have echo on this, yeah.
Yeah, definitely echoes both what Charles and Justin mentioned. I believe BTFS is no doubt very open to integrating with DeFi and other blockchain-based projects. In fact, BTFS is already being used in the just DeFi ecosystem products already. So many of blockchain projects, no matter which sector it belongs to, they all benefit from using BTFS as their storage of data. So BTFS would not only just be the data infra layer, but also tightly integrated with them to create newer use cases we haven't seen in the past. So it's definitely exciting to see these endless possibilities of moving traditional enterprise layer storage out of to more flexible, more private, and more reliable decentralized storage. So definitely more exciting things to come.
Okay, thank you guys very much for your time, and also thanks for sharing your insights. So for all our users looking for a better storage service, the BTFS, I think it definitely will be your must-have. Okay, stay tuned with us. Thank you guys very much. See you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.